Are you ready to continue with letters 7 and 8 for the Hebrew alphabet? Well, today we're looking at Zayin and Chet. Grab a pen and your notebook. Let's get started. Shalom, welcome to Rob on the Rock. Here we are for the next two letters of the Hebrew alphabet. We're going to look at Zayin and Chet. Zayin and Chet. Well, Zayin is going to be just like Vav. We're going to start with a vertical line like this, and we're just going to put a little hat on it like that. Two strokes, one vertical one, like the letter I, and then just put a little angled, little graduation cap on him. That's our Zayin right there. I just want to do a bunch of them. And what you can do is also practice Vavs and Zayins together, because you want to get used to distinguishing them. As we're going to see when we look at the Dead Sea Scrolls and the medieval Masoretic style of writing the Zayin and the Vav, we'll notice some differences here. So that's our Zayin, and it makes the Z sound, Z, Zayin. And we're going to learn also then the letter Chet. It makes like a CH. Usually it's transcribed or transliterated with a CH, like Bach, CH. And that's going to start just like our letter Bet and our letter Hey. But this time we're going to go all the way and touch with our left leg all the way up. Remember, a Hey just goes up to here. So there's our Hey. We want to differentiate our Chet from our Hey. So we can practice back and forth. Hey, Chet, Hey, Chet. That's kind of a funny looking Chet. Hey, Chet, and so on and so forth. And if you want to make some bigger, there's our Hey, there's our Chet, Hey, Chet. I'm not being consistent here. There we go. Chet. Mine are kind of sloppy, but you get the point. Hey. Chet. There's a Vav from last time, and then a Zayin. Remember, Vav with a little hat. That's our Zayin. So let's look at some of these ancient versions of the Hey, or rather of the Chet and the Zayin. One of the words we're going to see here is the word, we know all the letters for it, is chazah, which is a verb, he saw. Chazah, literally it's he saw a vision. Chazah. So we're going to see this in Isaiah chapter 1. We're going to see the word chazon, which is the word vision, and then chazah, which he saw. And so the very first letter of the book of Isaiah is this letter Chet right here. So let's look at the great Isaiah scroll. So here we go. This is our scroll that's nearly, 2,200 years old. And the very first word here is chazon, Chet, Zayin, Navav, and then a Nun. We haven't learned the Nun yet, that N sound. But the Chet here is very much, if I use our little side drawer here, maybe I can draw right next to him here. This Chet is like, almost like a letter H. It looks like an H. Do you see that? It's got three strokes, two vertical lines, and then a horizontal line. And so we're not making it that way. We're making it, like I showed you, we're making it two strokes like this. So we're going to differ a little bit from the scribe here from the Second Temple period. And so it says, Chazon, the vision of Isaiah ben Amoz, Asher Chazah. So here's our word chazah. Again, you see it looks like a H, but that's the Chet. And then this vertical line is a Zayin. And then a Hey. Chet, Zayin, Hey. So that's our word chazah. And it means he saw. He saw, or he had the vision. Chazah. Chet, Zayin, Hey. And notice the Zayin for this ancient scribe was just a vertical line, pretty much. We see the word in the word chazon here, back to our very first word, Chet, Zayin, Vav, Nun. And if I bring our little dry erase board, but I want to move it to the other side here, like this. And I'm going to write the word chazon. So we have here, oops, let me do that a little better here. Chet, Zayin, and then Vav would just be vertical. And then when we learn the Nun, it's just going to be like this, Chazon. But that's not the way he wrote it here for the Great Isaiah Scroll. He wrote the Het with the 3 strokes like that. His Zayin was more like a vertical line, and then the Vav, like we saw, was like that number 7. I could do better than that. And then he did the Nun after that. But my point is, do you see this? That's Chet, Vav, Zayin. But we're not using those forms. We're going to say Chet, or I misspoke. Chet, Zayin, Vav on the upper one here. We're going to go Chet, Zayin, Vav like that. Chazon, Chazon, that's that word for vision. So we're making our letters like this, not like the scribe of the Great Isaiah Scroll did. How about the other text that we like to look at, which is the Washington Pentateuch? Here we are again at Genesis 15. Achar hadvarim ha'eleh. We see here, after these things, Hayat dvar Adonai el Avram b'machazeh. Machazeh, in a vision. So the word vision used here, machazeh, is from the same root, chazon and chazah, that we see in Isaiah 1, verse 1. And we also see the very first word of this chapter, achar, has aleph and then a chet. So there's our letter chet. So we see 3 strokes, a horizontal line and 2 legs on the end is the chet here. And then if we go down to the word machazeh, machazeh, the only letter we haven't learned here is the letter M, or the mem here, but we have bet, mem, which we'll learn, ma, and then we have our chet, ch. Zayin, see how it's a vertical line with a little hat on top? That's a z, and then a letter hey. And what's neat about this word machazeh, in a vision, we see the chet and the hey next to each other, so we can compare and contrast, because we want to make sure that our chets and our heys are not mixed up. We want to see those and recognize those as independent of each other. So here we had another example of a word that we can use to get a visual and meaningful take on our Hebrew letters. Here we have machazeh, vision. We have the word, or the letters Chet and Zayin in them. Chaz, Chet, Zayin, Chaz. And that's the big opening of Isaiah 1. Chazon, vision of Isaiah, son of Amos. Asher Chazah, which he saw. Chaz. So Chet, Zayin is our combination here for this video. Now, when it comes to writing the Hebrew alphabet, we start, let's start here like that. Aleph, remember? Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey. I'm going to go down. Vav, Zayin, Chet. So even though our word today, Chazon, and Chazah, he saw, vision he saw, start with the letter Chet. In the alphabet of things, Zayin's first, then Chet. So Zayin's the 7th letter. Chet is the 8th letter. Let's change color here. Do some more. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet. Let's do another color. And we'll start backwards. Chet, Zayin, Vav, Hey, Dalet, Gimel, Bet, Aleph. So the question then is, how are you doing with your letter recognition? Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet. So you want to write these over and over and over and over again and know them really well. And soon enough, we'll get into vocabulary that will really help seal these in your mind. But for today, we can do, one last bit here. Let's just do a giant Zayin. So I would do something like this, a vertical line with a nice big top on it, like that. And you can color it in. Making art with your letters is a good way to learn them and to just take your time. Slow way down. And the Chet, do something like this maybe. Kind of start it off like a bet. But remember, we got to get this leg. The right leg goes all the way up, not like a hay. So this is our Zayin and our Chet. And you can color it in. You color it in with a different color. Zayin, Chet. Zach. That's not a word by itself necessarily. Well, there's a word for fresh, but chazon is our main word here today, or chazah. Chazah. And chazah means he saw. And it implies a vision in terms of a chazon, like a revelation, something from God. So there we go, another video down. If you're sticking with us here, you've got a notebook full of scribbles of different sizes and colors of Hebrew letters. We've got Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, and now we have Zayin and Chet. Zayin and Chet. So we've done 8 letters now. Stick with it, keep practicing, and you will get this down. And as we continue to add material, your ownership will become more and more sure. And when we learn the verbs or words and nouns and verbs, you'll grasp those very quickly. Thanks again for following along. I hope you're having fun learning. Shalom.